Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hey, I am a Muslim revert. I reverted about a year ago now, back in October of 2023. And before I reverted, I spent a lot of time doing research, reading articles on the internet, watching videos on YouTube, reading the Bible, reading the Quran. I've got my Bible and Quran right here. Lots of passages highlighted, I've made lots of marks, done a lot of research. And it was a beautiful moment for me when I realized that Islam is the truth. Since accepting Islam, my life has been so much more peaceful. And I'm still learning. I'm constantly learning. I feel like I have to share this with others. I want to share the knowledge that I have gained over the past year with others. So one interesting fact that I learned is that all Arab Christians, Muslims, and Jews use the word Allah when talking about God. And the word Allah in Arabic is genderless and has no plural. It literally translates to the one true God. Now, furthermore, Jesus, peace be upon him, spoke Aramaic. That was his native language. A misconception that I hear some Christians believe that Jesus spoke Greek and Hebrew. This is incorrect. Jesus did not speak Greek or Hebrew. He spoke Aramaic. And in Aramaic, God would have been called Allah, which is very, very similar to Allah. And the prophet Moses, peace be upon him, referred to God, among other things, as Elo in Hebrew. So we have Allah, Allah, Elo. Arabic, Aramaic, Hebrew. All of these are Semitic languages, which is why all of these names for God sound so similar. And when we're looking at the Quran and the Bible, Jesus, again, spoke Aramaic. The earliest manuscripts that we have for the New Testament in the Bible come from Koine Greek. Manuscripts written in Koine Greek. Again, Jesus did not speak Greek. And the New Testament was written roughly nearly a century after Jesus' death, if you are a Christian. If you are a Muslim, we do not believe that Jesus died. It's a century later, and in a different language, that we have the Gospels of Mark, Matthew, Luke, John, and even these Gospels, the authorship and the authenticity of these Gospels are debated. The Gospels of the New Testament are essentially written by anonymous authors, and Christian scholars themselves will admit to this. Now, when we look at the Quran was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in Arabic. He spoke Arabic. Arabic is a living language. It's one of the oldest living languages in the world, and it's still spoken by millions of people today. The Quran was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad over a period of time, over a period of 23 years. And during that time, the Prophet Muhammad had his companions write down verses from the Quran. And at the same time, the Arabian society was one that valued the oral tradition. And so, as the Quran was revealed, it was memorized in full by both the Prophet and his closest companions. So, when the Prophet Muhammad died, you had written verses from the Quran on various different materials, palm branches, leaves, parchment, this and that. And then you also had close companions of the Prophet who had fully memorized the Quran. They had it in their heads. And between those two sources, they were able to compile, within a few years of the Prophet's death, the Quran in the correct order of the surahs, the ayats. And then this was the first compilation of the Quran in a written form. Again, it was memorized orally by many of the companions to begin with. So the preservation of the Quran from the very beginning was maintained and has been maintained from the time of revelation up until today. There are still millions, thousands of people today throughout history that have memorized the Quran and have been a part in maintaining the purity of the revelation. So when you look at the Quran, you look at the Bible, you look at the language that the Prophet Jesus spoke, you look at the language that the Prophet Muhammad spoke, you look at the languages behind the manuscripts that we use to base the Quran off of, to base the Bible off of, I believe in this sense that the authenticity and the preservation of each of these, the Quran is much more preserved. The Bible, over time, has had additions, it's had revisions. There's been many back and forth things with the Bible, and there are multiple versions of the Bible. There is only one Quran. In Arabic, there is only one Quran. Now, the translations might differ a little, but that's different than the Bible. So again, do your own research, compare the two, and see what conclusions you draw. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum.